blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black.
What's up, all my movie-loving maniacs? This your boy Bangful B, and welcome back to the Lassiter Factor Black History Month special. The special where I review nothing but black cinema, whether I've seen it or haven't seen it. Now, Captain America Brave New World was released in theaters over the weekend, and I went to go see it. And since this is the first Captain America movie starring a black Captain America, I decided to add it to this special, so let's review. Captain America Brave New World sees the return of Sam Wilson as he is promoted from Falcon to Captain America, and his partner Joaquin Torres takes over the Falcon role. Now, Sam Wilson, he tries to work with Thunderbolt Ross, who is now President Ross, to try to restart the Avengers, but during a visit at the White House, Sam Wilson's friend Isaiah Bradley gets framed for a crime, which sends Sam Wilson on a mission to try to clear his name, while also finding out some harsh truths about his president and other things. Now, if you've seen my review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier as of recent, you know how I feel about that show, and you know how I feel about Sam Wilson as the new Captain America. I am absolutely down for this, the way they presented it, and the way we got to him becoming Captain America after the shield was passed down to him by Steve Rogers. And now we see him in his own movie, and we get to see him more in action as the new Captain America. Outside of that, yeah, the Marvel Universe has been in a bit of a rough patch lately, and I was looking forward to this. In fact, it is one of my most anticipated movies of the year because it just seemed like we're going to get back to the fun days of Marvel, and Marvel's going to finally get itself on track. And does Brave New World do that? Personally, I thought the movie was fun. I mean, clearly it's not the best Captain America movie. It's not better than Civil War, which is my favorite of the Captain America movies and my favorite MCU movie. It's certainly not better than The Winter Soldier, but I'd say it's on par, if not slightly better, than The First Avenger, which is the first Captain America movie. I did not realize this movie was clocking in a little under 2 hours, so it has a timid runtime, which had me a little bit worried, but it does have a pace that goes from like, alright, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here, and it just makes for a fun experience. Now, the grainy look that we saw in the trailers, I thought that was just for the trailers, but nah, it is apparently in the movies, which I'll admit kind of threw me off a little bit, but it works here because it's kind of a throwback to that 70s spy espionage movies that we got back in the 70s, in which The Winter Soldier, and to a smaller extent Civil War, was a throwback to those types of movies. Besides, I've always liked this section of the MCU that's just more grounded and realistic. That's what I always loved about the Captain America movies, is that they are a throwback to them spy espionage political thrillers. But given that this is a Captain America movie with Sam Wilson, it does deal with some repercussions of him taking on the shield and the pressures that puts on him, but they don't linger on it too long. I mean, it still has a story to tell. They try not to center the movie around that, but it is something that the character has to deal with at times. He feels like he does have something to prove. But I think this movie does a good job at showcasing why Sam Wilson is fit to have the shield passed on to him, because despite the fact that he didn't take no super soldier serum, the fact that he takes on the situations without no serum just makes him even more badass, and all he has is his wit, his skills, and his gadgets and technology. Now, Danny Torres, he is the new Falcon. He was introduced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and he's played once again by Danny Ramirez, and he's a little bit more jokey than he was on that show, but I still think the partnership and chemistry between him and Sam Wilson just work, and Anthony Mackie and Danny Ramirez, they have good chemistry together. I am curious to see what they do with Torres in upcoming Marvel projects. Now, like I said, Isaiah Bradley returns. He was introduced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He was the original Black Captain America that was locked away for decades, and then he broke out, and so now it's a whole new world, a brave new world, pun intended. So he's trying to integrate himself back into the world with the help of Sam Wilson, and then once he gets framed for trying to assassinate the president, to me, Carl Lumbly, who does reprise the role, he is the best actor, at least in my opinion, in this movie, because when he gets framed and gets arrested, you can see the heartbreak on him. It's like, damn, I spent years and decades going through this, and now here I go again. Giancarlo Esposito plays Sidewinder. He is one of the members of the Serpent Society, or just Serpent. Now, the character wasn't originally in the movie, but he is a product of the reshoots that this movie endured. And it's definitely clear when you watch this movie. I mean, it is definitely clear this character was not originally here, but he was just added at the 11th hour. And to Giancarlo Esposito's credit, he does fine with the material he's given, but I wish we'd have seen more of him. Hell, we might see more of him in future Marvel projects going forward. Shira Haas plays Ruth. She is the head of security for the president, but she's also a former Black Widow. I felt she did an okay job. I mean, I heard some criticisms about her, mainly because she is an Israelite character, and given her Israelite background, it is problematic, but I try not to get too into that. I just try to judge her in the movie and not let any real-life controversies cloud my judgment of her performance in this movie. Now, I suspect we may see more of her, but at the same time, she really didn't do much except just help drive the plot along. And then we have Harrison Ford, who takes over the role of Thaddeus Ross after the original actor William Hurt passed away back in 2022. Now, when I heard that Harrison Ford was going to play the role of Thaddeus Ross in this movie, I was slightly curious, because clearly this is a recast that is a bit jarring because we all know Harrison Ford, but also curious on whether or not he would actually clock into work. And to his credit, he does clock into work. In fact, I say this is probably the best movie showcasing this character, because the majority of the plot does revolve around him and him dealing with his past and his mistakes. Plus, I gotta address the elephant in the room, in which Thaddeus Ross does turn into the Red Hulk. That's not a spoiler. It's in all the trailers, it's in all the posters and marketing for this movie. We all know this was going to happen. But everybody was under the impression that we would get more of this character, and honestly, I never really got that impression. I mean, I always kind of knew that this was something that would happen during the climax of the movie. I never got the impression that we was going to get a lot of Red Hulk in this movie. But when it did happen, I actually enjoyed it. And how it happened in context of the movie, it does make sense. Now, I'm trying to be as vague with this review as possible, but I will give some slight spoilers, because it might be a bit of a spoiler for me to review that this movie is, in a way, an unofficial sequel to The Incredible Hulk. And I don't just mean that because of Thaddeus Ross and him turning into the Red Hulk. I mean that because we do get to see the return of two characters from that movie, in which I won't spoil who, but if you're in the know like I am, if you've been following Catholics, you know who I'm talking about. They also finally addressed the big-ass Celestial that popped out at the end of the Eternals movie. And so I'm glad they're finally giving some closure to that, and the reveal of what that actually is could lead to even bigger things. I'll also appreciate that this movie does take itself a little seriously. I mean, there are some jokey moments and some lighthearted humor here and there, but for the most part, this movie does retain the balanced tone that the Captain America movies had. And of course, I love the themes of Sam Wilson taking on the mantle and taking on the repercussions of the mantle, but also the themes of atoning for your past and trying to make things right with the people you love, and trying to return the world to some type of normalcy after you played a part in the chaos that the world is in. I appreciated that this movie adjusts those things within the context of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Overall, I really did enjoy this movie. It's not as good as Winter Soldier or Civil War, at least in my opinion, but it's still a fun movie. It's definitely not the worst movie I've ever seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's definitely clear this movie has been butchered to death from multiple reshoots and rewrites and reworking. And it's also very obvious that some, if not most of this movie was shot in front of a green screen, which makes these reshoots even more obvious. But regardless, I hope this movie still does well at the box office, because I genuinely did enjoy it. I wouldn't mind seeing another Captain America movie with Sam Wilson as the title character. And the movie does end with a lot of ramifications that could lead into Marvel projects going forward. I may feel different about this movie later down the line, but for right now, I just can't quite get into a hard eyes emoji, because I just had higher expectations for this movie, given that it's coming off of two really strong previous Captain America movies. And maybe that's just me, but I still have fun with this movie. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. This movie could have been way, way worse, especially all things considered. And that's why I'm going to give Captain America Brave New World an enthusiastic thumbs up emoji. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have you seen Captain America Brave New World? If so, let me know what you think of the movie in the comment section below. And I do plan on doing a spoiler review so I can go more in depth about the things I like and didn't like. So be on the lookout for that. It will be on my TikTok. This is your boy Bangful B of the Lassiter Factor. Stay safe, wash your hands, and be on the lookout for more reviews within the Lassiter Factor Black History Month movie review special. Peace.